So, ever fancied that extra bit of sauce on your wings? Well, now you can. Nando's new extra saucy wings, plus cheesy garlic pita bread. So stick around and you'll see exactly how I rated them. As we do every week, finishing off the unboxing, and Nando's, as you see their boxing, as it were, or boxes, I think they're always on point. I think the branding looks good, I think the design is good, and I think the boxing itself is pretty good. It's not sealed, and as you can see there, kind of like a smoky PERi sauce and the red pepper chutney that was with the garlic pita bread, which I didn't even realise. But either way, the main event, as you can see there as it's unboxing, is the extra saucy wings, and there was a fair amount of sauce or extra sauce, and I'll tell you what that is in a second. The boxing though, as I say, they're not sealed boxes, so it still lets a little bit of heat out, although I've said that, and that one is actually pretty much sealed, but they do let a little bit of heat out, so the moisture content doesn't kind of, you know, get absorbed into the food. The chips, you'll see in a second, not too bad, as I put there a second ago, looking pretty decent or looking pretty good, and it did. However, the price is £6.70 for just the wings on their own. That is 3, 5 or 10 wings. £6.70. Am I being stupid? That's a fair amount of money for and you'll see in a minute what is basically a small wing, albeit with extra sauce. So you know, when you're climbing past the £2 a wing, I don't know. It's starting to. Yeah, I think basically take the P. It's a lot of money, and I know you're paying for the whole experience, the Nando's, etc., especially if you go into the restaurant. But you know, it is what it is, and that's the way things are at the moment. So, PERi-salted fries were pretty good. They weren't bang on, so you'll see in the ratings they're not amazing, but they're more kind of like a KFC, as you can see there, kind of like a soft, almost squidgy fry. They could do with, I think, frying a little bit longer, and then obviously when they get delivered, maybe the moisture doesn't sort of attack it and you know, make it obviously soggy, and you end up with a decent fry. But they probably could just add a bit like KFC, or is it Burger King, with the holes in the box for the fries. I think that would go down pretty well in terms of letting the letting the steam out. Excuse me. So and if you haven't, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and ding that bell. Well, you don't have to ding the bell, but either way, the PERi sauce, which I think was pretty good. It was almost like a smoky supercharger sauce, so I think that was pretty good. The red pepper chutney, excuse me, which was really good. It was, it wasn't spicy, it wasn't too hot, but it was just enough that if I'd have realised, would have complemented the cheesy garlic bread or pita very well. But in itself, it was still a nice sauce, albeit not a lot of it. So onto the spicy rice, which I still think to this day, Nando's, it's their staple, isn't it? Apart from chicken, obviously, but it's their staple side, I should say. And a lot of people have it with chicken, etc. And I think it's a good alternative, although I had it obviously with fries. Now, I probably should have had mac and cheese maybe with it and rice. And the sides themselves, as you can see there, well, you can't see there, but the price, £6.85 for 2 sides. Big. Again, you know, let's round it up to £7, £3.50 a side. Not extortionate, but not that brilliant. I'd say, you know, maybe rounded down a little, let's say £3. So £6 for 2 sides. But, you know, either way, prices aren't going down. And onto, which I will say was pretty good. I probably should have rated it a little bit higher, but you'll see the rating at the end. Was really good. Like, are the sides worth it? Price-wise, probably not. I mean, it is a pita bread with cheese. But just to go over what it is, a toasted sourdough pita oozing with melty cheddar cheese, garlic, spring onions, and a hint of peri-peri. I think it's pretty good. Like, as a different and new side, I think they pretty much nailed it with it. You know, it wasn't over the top. It wasn't anything special, but it was something decent as a different side, a bit like mac and cheese. Everybody's had mac and cheese forever and a day. Everybody's had pita breads, everybody's had cheese and garlic, etc. But all together as a cheesy garlic pita, I think it's pretty good. Like, I would say have it as a maybe equivalent to fries, maybe, as a different side. It was definitely kind of toasted nice. It wasn't hard, it wasn't overdone. Plenty of garlic kind of in the background. Couldn't really taste much of the spring onions, and everybody knows I hate onions, but it kind of blended in pretty well if that was the case. And plenty of cheese, but it just slid out. And again, this is part of the delivered food review without waffling, yes. But the point being is that it's, to show what you actually get when you get a delivered food and then review it. Cheese at the bottom, that was basically where some of it went out to, or slid out to, more to the point. But it was pretty good. So extra saucy wings, and most of the sauce ended up in the bottom, which, can't really do much about. As you can see there, advertised versus reality every week. They weren't exactly the same, but I wouldn't say they're a million miles off. They had some char in and they had plenty of sauce on. And you'll see in a minute, I probably should have actually got a spoon out or something and just kind of placed some more of the sauce on the top. Now, Nando's don't split their wings, and some other places started to do this. So 3 wings is kind of technically 6 wings in everybody else's world. The winglets and drumlets, I think. Not easy to split apart. And before anybody says it, once I've obviously eaten this wing, and you'll see the prices, obviously, they're not cheap. With the 2 sides as well, you're basically talking the best part of 14 quid. Quite a lot of money, I'd say, for just 3 wings, fries and some rice. But just going back to the eating of the wing and obviously stripping the meat off, I'm not a gristle, cartilage, whatever you want to call it, person. I'm not going to eat that. I think we've evolved past that, let's say. So eating the skin and meat, albeit maybe the skin is in the same kind of category. But yeah, that's the most I go to with wings. If anybody's ever noticed, like I won't just strip it down to literally the bone. Who is it out there? I think it's like Chicken Connoisseur. Appears to, I'm not saying he does, but it appears to eat everything apart from just the bone, which I can't bring myself to do it. Either way, it was a good wing, just not a lot of wing. Needs to probably go to Gymshark or something like that. Get some, exercise, let's say. Let's get some bigger meat on these bones. But it never seems to be the case. The wings, in most cases, seem to be getting less and less in terms of meat. So, I'm all for the Captain America enhanced version because you get a better wing. But unfortunately, Nando's, and the irony of obviously them being a chicken place, they're not particularly big wings. I'm not lying. You can see it literally there on the screen. They're not very big wings at all. So a little bit disappointed in that respect. And as you can see there, I probably should have just put some sauce straight out the bottom of the box onto the wing. But it was more the yoghurt. So their write-up is that the wings are covered in PERi-Flamer, a sweet, smoky and spicy sauce, and drizzled with a creamy yoghurt dressing. Now, I think it was good. It had a bit of heat to it. It had a bit of peri-peri heat to it. It was kind of sweet, like a bit of honey in the background. Smokiness maybe didn't come through too much. But the yoghurt dressing, I think, if it was just drizzled on the top as you were having it in the restaurant, I think would actually be pretty good. There was just probably too much sauce. I know it's kind of sounding a bit daft because it's extra sauce, but maybe just a little bit too much sauce when it's delivered, because it just ends up in a sort of all mixed in together, I'm not saying mess, but a pool at the bottom of the container, the box. So I don't know. I think they were pretty good overall. The whole meal overall was pretty good. The ratings you've seen in a second kind of reflect that. And, it is what it is. It's Nando's at the end of the day. 7.5 for the wings, 8.75 for the cheesy garlic pita, 8 for the fries, and 9 for the spicy rice. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. And if you haven't, check out these videos.